Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. Here's a recap of our top stories from the week.
The Penn State Board of Trustees voted on Thursday to approve the university's recommendation regarding campus closures. Under the recommendation, 7 of the university's satellite campuses will close, including Penn State Wilkes-Barre. However, the vote also determined that the 13 other campuses will remain open, including Penn State Hazleton, Penn State Schuylkill, and Penn State Scranton. The recommendation was approved with a vote of 25 to 8. According to officials, the campus closures will take place after the spring of the 2026 to 2027 academic year, and no new students will be accepted at the closing campuses after the fall of 2025. University officials say the decision to close the 7 campuses was made due to low enrollment, demographic shifts, and financial pressure. For additional information or to read the full recommendation, you can visit roadmap.psu.edu.
The Emmanuel Christian School in Hazleton has changed its name. The private school closed temporarily in December due to financial instability, but was able to reopen as a result of emergency funding secured by Congressman Dan Muser. In the face of the financial challenges, school officials say they are stepping forward with a new name and a new identity. Although the legal entity of Emmanuel Christian School remains intact, Executive Director Mike Jarrell says the school will now operate under the name of Charis Academy. The name Charis is the Greek word for grace, which Jarrell says represents the school's mission of creating a community of Christ followers who embody grace toward one another, toward the city, and toward the world. The rebranding also includes a new logo featuring Leo the Lion in royal purple and gold. Officials say the logo represents strength, dignity, courage, and the incredible worth of every student. As the school moves into the new identity, Jarrell says the school's goals are to rebuild trust, to become more engaged with service and outreach in the city, to prepare students for the workforce with hands-on skills training, and to encourage interactive and collaborative learning.
Officials report that a man charged in connection with the Hazleton shooting is also awaiting trial on drug charges. According to police, Jose Sandoval Perez was arrested following a shooting on Sunday, May 25th at the Sazon Latino Restaurant 2 located at the corner of 20th and Alter Streets in Hazleton. During the shooting, police say one man was found unresponsive and later pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. A second man was found sitting on the floor with multiple gunshot wounds. Following an investigation, Hazleton police identified Sandoval Perez as the alleged shooter. Additional details reveal that Sandoval Perez has also been charged with conspiracy to manufacture, deliver, or possess drugs and criminal use of a communication device following an investigation in February in which police found over 100 baggies of cocaine, 11 grams of cocaine, 6 pills believed to be fentanyl, a firearm, and $500 in cash. In connection with the shooting, Sandoval Perez has been charged with theft of a firearm, recklessly endangering another person, and firearms not to be carried without a license. He is currently behind bars with denied bail. A new mayor for Weatherly Borough has not yet been selected. The Weatherly Borough Council accepted the resignation of former Mayor Paul Hadzix on April 28th after 4 borough employees made allegations of sexual harassment. In a statement on April 29th, borough officials said the allegations were investigated by an independent and impartial law firm. The results were presented to the Borough Council during an executive session on April 28th. The identities of the 4 complainants have not yet been released, and the results of the investigation are confidential. However, officials say no allegations of sexual abuse have been made. During the Weatherly Borough Council meeting on Tuesday, May 28th, the council deliberated privately for about an hour but did not come to a decision regarding who would fill the vacant position for mayor. This is a developing story. Stay tuned on WYLN News for updates. The Luzerne County Council voted on Tuesday to purchase the historic former train station in Wilkes-Barre for $615,000. The county has been leasing a portion of the train station since 2022 to house the county's tourism office, Visit Luzerne County. Luzerne County Manager Imelda Crocomo said the decision to purchase the building was made due to its convenient location and historic value to the area.
Those of the viewers who are my age probably remember dancing at the train station. It's the home of our Visitors Bureau. It is the perfect home for our Visitors Bureau. It represents a history of the rails in Luzerne County. We need to make sure that that is kept.
The train station dates back to 1868 and was used for passenger services until 1963. The station closed in 1972 and was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1975. During the 80s and 90s, the train station also housed a nightclub and restaurant before standing vacant for about 15 years. Kokomo said the purchase will be made with available funds and will not require a loan.
Also, it's not coming out of the general fund. It's not coming out of the taxpayers' monies. We're using interest money in accounts. So this is really something that's going to be positive, not only for Wilkes-Barre, but for the entire county.
The historic train station is located at 200 Old Train Station Road in Wilkes-Barre.
Coming up on WYLN News, we check in with State Representative Dane Watrow on Watrow's Weekly Update. Plus, Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history with Benton, Part 4. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network and Jefferson Health. Investing in your well-being and building healthier communities because more expertise and convenient care mean better outcomes and a healthier you. Learn more at lvhn.org/Jefferson.
Hi, my name is Melania. Tomorrow it's gonna be really rainy, so make sure you bring your umbrella. Hi, my name is Melania. Tomorrow it's gonna be really rainy, so make sure you bring your umbrella.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazleton, 570-454-7229. Cheers is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long. The Weather Kids, fresh from the farm, everyday heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30.
Hi, I'm State Representative Dane Watrow of the 116th Legislative District. I'm grateful to be your voice in the state capitol. And one of the things I've been working on is my bill, House Bill 17, which would make sure all kids learn how to write cursive. People talk a lot about how school has changed. Some kids aren't doing as well on tests, and it can be harder to get ready for jobs or life after school. My bill won't fix everything, but I believe learning cursive in school is still important. Writing in cursive helps your brain remember things better and can make your hands stronger and more skilled. A lot of old letters and historic documents are written in cursive. So if you know how to read it, you can learn more about the past. Cursive is also still used today when you sign your name on important things like checks and legal papers. House Bill 17 is about giving students another way to learn, express themselves, and do well in school and life. My bill was recently moved out of committee, and I'll keep working to get it to the governor. If you want to follow my bill, you can check it out on the Pennsylvania General Assembly website. I'll also be sharing updates on my social media and in my weekly roundup emails. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Feel Good Friday. I'm joined here with Dr. John. Dr. John, how's it going?
Hey Ryan, I love helping people, so thank you for being here.
I love being here, and today, helping people, we're going to talk about proper lifting techniques.
Right now we're all starting to do gardening, so we're picking up peat moss and fertilizers and lime and all that stuff. So if you're at the gym, or even at the workload, or in your garage, always don't bend over from the waist. People will say to me, all I did was pick up a 30-pound bag of fruit, but I bent over from the waist. The goal is always bend the knees, sort of what we call squat. And it takes, you got to get down lower. People will say, my dog is sickly. He's 50 pounds. I have to take him outside to pee because he can't walk. Bend down with your legs, pick up with the legs. So don't bend over with your legs straight. It strains the back, it misaligns the back, and it's the sacroiliac joints misaligned. So proper technique, and I'm talking little things. Even if you bend over to pick up your dirty socks, bend with your knees. It just doesn't have to be for 50 pounds of weights.
Yep, bending with your knees is important. I'd like to thank Dr. John for joining us on this Feel Good Friday, and we'll see you next time.
This week's show, Let's Talk Chiropractic, is exciting. Anna overcame the language barrier. She learned how to speak English. She had a car accident. She came for a chiropractor, and through proper communication, I'm gentle, and she got great results. So check in on the show.
Are you sitting at home living in pain? Maybe it's in your hands, maybe your back or your hips. The good news is you don't need to live in pain. Why? Because there is Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind, natural, powerful joint relief supplement created from the green lip mussels of New Zealand. Drug-free, non-habit forming. It's small, easy to swallow, and it's backed by more than 40 years of clinical research. As I was getting older, my joints started to feel that wear and tear. But then I tried Omega XL, and it changed my life. If you're experiencing daily aches and pains due to aging and overuse, try Omega XL and see the difference it can make in your life.
Buy one, get two free. 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3, a value of more than $85. Call today and you pay only $39.95. Plus, you have nothing to lose because it's backed by our 60-day money-back guarantee. Call now.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Hi, my name is Melania. Tomorrow it's gonna be really rainy, so make sure you bring your umbrella.
A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
In the Benton area, the movies would find a home in town when the Ritz Theater opened on April 19, 1916. The theater was built by A.J. Housewort and had a capacity of roughly 300 seats. Peter Magazu, who owned a chain of theaters including the Andrea in Catawissa and the Angela in Coaldale, purchased the theater in 1937. The last picture aired at the Ritz on December 1, 1952, when it closed in protest of a local 10% amusement tax that Benton officials had refused to repeal. The Ritz Theater stood vacant for 7 years until it was torn down in 1959. Scouting would take off in the early part of the 20th century in the United States, with young boys increasingly taking summer sojourns into nature to improve themselves physically and mentally. In the Benton area, this movement would lead to the formation of Camp Levine in 1924 on Fishing Creek in the former Winona Park picnic area. It was chartered by the Columbia Montour Council of the Boy Scouts of America, which had formed the prior year. The eventual camp would be named in honor of Council President J.F. Levine, who owned a silk mill in Danville at the time. The first set of scouts themselves helped build part of the camp, with the boys receiving a cash reward for each stump they pulled out of the eventual parade grounds. Early recreation at Camp Levine was a bit wild by today's standards. The scouts would, in 1927, build a treehouse 70 feet in the air in a sycamore, accessible only by a rope ladder. It stood for 2 years before it was torn down due to rapid deterioration. Swimming at first was in Fishing Creek itself, via a wooden slide that began atop the Bloomsburg and Sullivan's railroad tracks. Engineers thus frequently had to blow their whistles hard to get campers off the tracks. This arrangement would be replaced by what was the very first swimming pool in Columbia County in 1930. More than 1,000 boys scouted at Camp Levine during the height of the scouting movement in the middle 20th century. The camp still operates today, now open to girls as well as other local civic groups. Although the area north of Benton owned by R. Bruce Ricketts was heavily timbered over the years, the glens and waterfalls that captivated patrons of his hotel still stood in their original natural state. Recognizing the potential of keeping them intact, Ricketts opened them to the public in 1913 with a $1 fee for parking. Following Ricketts' passing in 1918, the State Game Commission bought nearly 50,000 acres from his heirs to create State Game Lands No. 13, leaving the Ricketts family the glens and waterfalls. Beginning in 1935, an effort was made to designate the remaining holdings as a national park, although this would be defunded the following year. Finally, on August 1, 1941, Governor Arthur James signed a bill that created Ricketts Glen State Park. Pennsylvania bought the land from the Ricketts family the following year and opened the park to the public on August 1, 1943. The state made improvements in the glens, rebuilding the trails and bridges that passed by the waterfalls. It also removed all the Ricketts family's dams on the properties and replaced them with more modern ones. Today, Ricketts Glen State Park continues to offer guests a strong taste of nature, especially in the still intact glens where the waterfalls still flow freely. Ricketts Glen State Park was also, beginning in 1950, the site of a military radio station. Operated by the 648th Aircraft Control and Warning Squadron based out of Fort Indiantown Gap, it was designed to serve as an early warning system in the event of a Soviet attack during the Cold War. Roughly 300 servicemen would be stationed at the facility during its peak before the 648th would be deactivated in 1975. The radar system is still in use today, however, as an advanced signal for the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton International Airport, while the Red Rock Job Corps Center still uses the barracks. In the middle 20th century, Benton residents had several attractions just to the north in Red Rock to take in on an open day. The first of these opened was the Wyant Museum in 1954. It was the creation of Charles and Jessie Wyant, who had collected countless artifacts during Charles's long career with the U.S. Bureau of Fisheries, which had included time at the nation's largest fishery in Marion, Alabama, and a stint as a federal hatchery superintendent for a 5-state area. Wanting to share everything they had accumulated over the years with the public, Charles and Jessie opened their house to tourists on Labor Day weekend in 1954. They built an annex next to the house 4 years later to better hold the large collection. The Wyant Museum would be open to the public Wednesdays through Sundays, and admission was free. Guests who stepped inside could look at the Wyant's collection of more than 8,000 Native American beads, 6,000 arrowheads, countless firearms, and a large taxidermy collection of bobcats, foxes, weasels, owls, pheasants, and other wild creatures. The collection also included a bayonet said to have been used in the capture of British Major John Andre before he and Benedict Arnold could turn control of West Point over to the British in the Revolution, a butterfly collection, petrified wood from Alabama, and a set of shark's teeth. Charles and Jessie Wyant announced closure of the museum in July 1979 due to declining health. Their daughter Doris, however, continued to operate the complex for another quarter century by appointment only. After Doris's death in 2004, the Wyant Museum's collection was auctioned off. Around the time the Wyant Museum opened to history lovers, nature lovers in the Benton area would get their own place to go when the Red Rock Game Farm opened on May 30th, 1957 on Route 118 north of the borough. It was the brainchild of Henry L. Vonderheide, who, with his brother Fred, ran the local Von Brothers Circus. Henry, having noticed during his shows that the audience paid more attention to the animals than any other act, wished for a place to display his circus's animals when not touring. He thus bought 8 acres of land from Brian and Edna Laycock in 1956 and quickly built a zoo on the site. Guests stepped inside a reproduction of an old fort to take in numerous exotic animals: lions, tigers, bears, peacocks, monkeys, alligators, vultures, deer, horses, rabbits, llamas, and elephants were just a few of the over 100 animals to call the Red Rock Game Farm home over the years. For younger guests, a special treat was a stuffed deer named Rudolph, who would go down in history as a perfect ride for a family photo outside the zoo. After several years of devoting his full attention to the game farm, Vonderheide restarted his circus, frequently takes some of the game farm's residents around the area for special events. The death of Henry Vonderheide from cancer on April 20th, 1967, spelled the end of the Red Rock Game Farm. The animals will be sold off to new owners, and the land that once held wild animals is now private property. And Benton proper would see a major tradition begin in 1985, when the very first Benton Rodeo will be held. From that start, the event has grown to a major happening that is today considered one of the best rodeos east of the Mississippi River.
Lehigh Valley Health Network is now proudly part of Jefferson Health. And when two healthcare leaders come together for the community, you can expect more. More access, more doctors, more convenience. Jefferson Health and Lehigh Valley Health Network. Together for the future of care.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Hello, I'm WYLN historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.